we do is we believe in a pathway, an aviation pathway. So our guys start in 9th grade. They take what's called Intro to Drones. They learn how to fly the Mavic Pro that we have here. And they also learn basic aviation skills. So we actually go out and put together a runway. We learn how to do weather checks. We learn how to do briefings. We learn about aviation safety. And so we're learning about risk management, all these things. And so what we're doing is we're setting a pathway where they're learning how to fly. And they're doing it at 13 and 14 years old. After that, they can move on to advanced drones. We have RC airplanes that we fly here. The difference there is that they have to build it. They've got to do weight and balance. They've got to put it together. They've got to maintain it as well. You can't take an airplane to a hover when you're trying to figure out what's going on. So there has to be a level of knowledge of what they're doing where they feel more comfortable. From there, their 11th grade year, they move into actually flying an airplane. So we have 2 Piper Warriors up at Alexander City. We fly with Mr. Gene up at Brown Arrow. And so they'll meet with their flight instructors a couple days a week. They'll travel to the airport and begin learning their private pilot. So at this point, they should have or be finishing up their commercial drone license, their Part 107 drone license, and they're beginning their private pilot license. And when they can graduate already having both of those in their docket. On top of that, to kind of help bring everything together and bring meaning to what they do, we have the drone team. So in the late fall every year, we hold 3 days of auditions and interviews. And the guys have to go out and perform certain maneuvers with their drones. They have to go sit in front of a board. And we ask them a lot of questions about teamwork, discipline. We're really looking at performance, but we're also looking at their ability to be kind of on their own, the self-starter, the self-motivated. Can I take you somewhere and you can be at that level where you don't need me looking over your shoulder anymore. Now, our spring is spent traveling. So we have a show that we put together. It's 10 to 12 minutes long, and we put music, narration, and formation flying together. And then we travel to air shows here on the East Coast, including all the way down to Florida. We go down and we fly at Sun and Fun for a week during the summer. We were set up last year to debut at Oshkosh. Of course, we know Corona had different ideas for us. So we are still, again, this year looking this summer to head up to Oshkosh and be debuting at the largest air show in the Western Hemisphere. So very exciting, a lot going on. And then that team, that drone team, teaches these guys to be able to fly in close proximity to each other, to be able to read each other, to work as a team. I mean, they almost think they got to read each other's thoughts almost. And that's not just for being able to go out and put a show on. It looks great. What that's really for is just enhancing everything about the person pilot, about them, everything inside. How are you seeing aviation? How are you seeing operations? How are you starting to think on a higher level than you would expect from your average high school kid? What that also does, it gives these kids real world experience that starts to give them the confidence that we can also move out and do search and rescue operations, disaster relief. So we've helped with a couple events now that have occurred here at the national level. Our boys can travel. We have a trailer that gives us mobile operations. We can travel anywhere in the country and go on site for up to 72 hours. So we're self-contained, have our own power, food, and the boys can go out there. We take our drones and we look for lost livestock, help with damage assessment. We can do, of course, search and rescue, help find people. And what's really great about these drones is where a drone goes, a person doesn't have to. We also work with Cajun Navy Relief. And what's really cool about that is when they take their boats places or when they go and they have to go into an area, it's their first time going there. So they haven't had a chance to study the area. There are hazards they may not know about. And so when we can put a drone ahead to see what's going on, confirm whether or not they need to go into that area or not, and then give them exact numbers of what we're seeing and conditions of people, infill and exfil routes, things like that, it's really helping them work at a higher level as well. So our guys are actually have the capability to move out into the community, do real world service, and provide something that just isn't being done at the high school level.